Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and for today's video I'm going to be bringing you my spring TBR. Also, I am wearing a shirt, I promise. Let's see if I can like sit further back so that you can tell I'm wearing a shirt. I don't want it to look bad. Okay, so I feel like I do this pretty regularly. I always seem to skip winter because it's a weird time to like make a TBR for a season. Seeing as winter starts in December, it's like the end of the year, so I'm trying to do all of my end of the year videos and then I never end up doing those anyway, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, there's just like a lot going on, so I always seem to miss winter, but I feel like I'm pretty good about doing spring, summer, and fall TBRs. For fall, I only put 5 books on there. I think I got to maybe one of them, but like, it's fine. We know that I don't stick to TBRs. Either way, I wanted to make this video to kind of outline some books that I want to read in the coming months. Spring solstice? Is it a spring? No, it's not a solstice. We're just gonna call it the first day of spring. That's what it says on my calendar. It recently passed, and so I kind of wanted to do this in honor of that. Spring is my most favorite season ever. I come alive in the spring. It's just, I will argue with anyone all day long about this. Spring is unbeatable. That's all I have to say. So let's get into my spring TBR because this intro has already been way too long. So I kind of tried to put a bunch of different things on this list. I primarily really like fantasy, if you couldn't tell by the shelves behind me. It's my favorite genre, and I've been reading a lot more of it lately. There's a lot of fantasy on this list, but I also included some manga and some romance to kind of break it up. So starting with the manga, because there are only 2 of them. Orange, the Complete Collection, Volume 1 by Ishigo Takano. This is one of the most popular manga series that I have ever seen, literally ever. I feel like everyone has read this if they are into manga. I've had this on my shelf for a really long time and I really want to get to it. It seems, I know that there are a lot of trigger warnings for it and it is kind of like tougher at times just because of the content that it deals with, but it also feels like a spring read. Like, this just kind of screams happiness to me. But if you didn't know, this is basically about this group of friends, and one girl in that friend group gets a letter from her future self, and at first she thinks it's a joke, but her future self who has written that letter like puts a bunch of detail into it and like telling her what has happened, and that in order to prevent someone from taking their own life, she needs to like not do certain things. And that's really all I know about it. So I know that it's kind of like heavier, but I don't know necessarily all of the content warnings for it, so I would look those up. But I imagine one of them is at least the mention of suicide, because I'm pretty sure that's within the first couple of pages. So yes, but I really want to read this one. I'm so freaking excited about it because this is one that like everyone loves. And then the other one is also fairly hefty, and that is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas by Yoru Sumino, and the art is by Idumi Kirihara. I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I always butcher these names. I genuinely apologize, but I don't. I'm doing my best. This, while it has a very strange title, it's supposed to be a really, I think, sad story, but also kind of a love story. It's about this girl who is dying from a pancreatic disease, and someone who finds her diary like finds out about that, and he is the only person who knows. It says the last thing the boy wants is to be her friend, but Sakura's cheerful demeanor and their shared secret draw them together in this heart-rending tale of friendship and mortality. It sounds like it's going to be beautiful friendship, but heartbreaking. Now moving on to the traditional novels. The first one, this cover just screams spring to me, and that is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This has been pretty popular for quite a few months, like ever since it got published, I feel like, but I've seen even more people picking it up lately, and it just seems like a book that I would absolutely love. It's about this guy who kind of has to investigate certain instances with magical children, and one day he is sent to this orphanage at the house in the Cerulean Sea, and he meets all of these kids as well as their caretaker and spends time with them and ends up falling in love with the caretaker and just loves these children. And it sounds like it's going to be beautiful, and I am so excited. Also, I read the first couple of pages and it was just like absolutely gripping. So I'm like really, really, really excited. I will be shocked if this doesn't get at least a 4 out of 5 stars from me. The next one is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and it came out recently, and that is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is a Peter Pan retelling, and if you didn't know, I love Peter Pan retellings. I've never actually read Peter Pan, but I love Peter Pan retellings. It's ridiculous how much I love Peter Pan retellings. That's really all I know about it, other than the fact that it has a gorgeous cover, and I'm very, very excited. Aiden Thomas's other book, Cemetery Boys, I see quotes for that on Twitter all the time, and I do want to read that as well, but this one is like a little bit higher up on my TBR because I love Peter Pan retellings. That's really it. I don't have anything else to say. I'm super pumped about this. Now we have the 2 romance books in this entire video because I prefer fantasy. The first one is a continuation in a series, and that is Undercover Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams. Ideally, I would really love to read this and Crazy Stupid Bromance, I think, is the next one, which is the 3rd book in this series. I have read the first one and I really enjoyed it. I just like struggle to read romance books physically. I don't know why, but they intimidate me for some reason because of the font, even though it's literally fine, and I've read plenty of them physically. But yeah, I really want to read this one. I feel like it's perfect for a nice day like today, which you can't see outside, but it's beautiful, just to like sit on my front deck and read for a couple of hours, get a little bit of sun safely, like with sunscreen and stuff, take care of your skin. This whole series, basically, if you didn't know, is about this group of guys that are doing really well, like in their lives and with their careers and stuff, but their romance lives are lacking a little bit. So whether they need help actually getting the girl, they already have the girl, and there are problems within the relationship, whatever the case may be, there's a book club where these men read romance novels, and you kind of use them to help with whatever situation is going on in their lives. They read them so that they can apply the things that they learn in the romance novels to help win the girl that they want, basically. I love them. I think that they're adorable and they're so fun to read about, so I'm really excited to continue on with the series. Plus, I just love these covers. I don't know what it is. I just think that they're the best. Then this one is an old one, but it's popular. It's not that old, but like it's still, I feel like, talked about so much, and I'm so embarrassed that I haven't read it yet. Like, what am I doing? I think I'm gonna love it. And that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This was their debut novel, and they have another one coming out this year called One Last Stop, and I don't know if I want to read that one yet, simply because I don't know how I feel about time travel. I've not read a ton of books about time travel, so I just genuinely don't know if that's something that I like. I don't really think that it is, but again, like, I haven't read much with it, so how do I know? You know? But basically, this is about the first son of the first ever female president in the United States and the oldest prince of England, and how they get into an argument, and it's pretty public, and so they have to kind of become friends, but they don't really like each other, so they have to pretend to be friends, and then slowly they become more involved than that and actually develop a romance, and they kind of have to hide that, so it's like enemies to lovers, and then like hiding their relationship, secret dating, whatever, and I'm really excited about it. So many people really love this, and I have a feeling that I will too. Also, I just love this cover. It's just so pretty to me. Now we're back to fantasy, kind of. We have a science fiction break really quick, and then we'll get back to the rest of the fantasy. The science fiction that I really want to read is Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. All I know is it's a ragtag team of kids set in space trying to save not necessarily the world, but I think like the galaxy, basically. And they're like misfits, so like nobody thinks much of them on their own, and they definitely don't think that they'll be a great team together, but they end up being a great team together. Sorry if you can hear my dogs playing in the background. That's all I really know about it. I'm so excited. I have a feeling I'm going to love this book. I have a feeling it's going to be one of my favorite books of all time, and also at least get a 4 out of 5 stars for me. So I'm very excited about it. But again, I don't know much. This came out a couple of years ago. The sequel is already out, and I don't know when the 3rd book is coming out, but I have nothing else to say. I should stop talking. Then we have one that I'm sure you've seen missing on my shelves. Another old one. All the books are out in this series. Have been for a while too, so that's wonderful. I'm behind, just like always, and that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This, I feel like, again, just screams spring to me. I don't know why, but it does. I started this literally years ago and got 114 pages in, and I was liking it, but I have a feeling now I'm going to love it even more. I hope anyway. It was a quick read. It was easy to read. And I think that I bought this book in the spring, which is why I associate it with the springtime. But either way, it's kind of like a fantasy romance between Jude, who is a human, and Cardan, who is a cruel prince. Wonder where I got that idea. People love this series, and I tend to agree with the majority when it comes to hyped books. Not always, but most of the time I do. So I feel like I'll love this. And the last one, I think Elle, who is one of my very good friends in this community, will be happy to see. We have Belle Revolt by Lindsay Miller. This is a standalone fantasy novel that takes place during the French Revolution, and it's kind of like a Princess and the Pauper situation, and I think there is a sapphic romance. That's pretty much all I know. I also can tell that there are short chapters based on all of like the dark lines in it. And I think that'll be good for me too, because that always makes books faster for me. I really want to read this one. I've had it on my shelves for so long, and I genuinely think it's going to be really good. I just need to read it, you know? But that's it. Those are the books that I want to read during the springtime this year. Hopefully it can happen, but it probably won't if we're being honest. I don't know why I make any kind of TBR videos ever. Let's not talk about it, okay? I hope that you're doing well, reading mentally and otherwise. Let me know what kind of books you want to read this upcoming season. Let me know what your favorite season is. If you've made it this far in the video, leave down in the comments below what your favorite season is. I have a feeling that most people are going to say fall, but if your favorite season is spring, then I love you. I mean, I love you regardless, but I get you if your favorite season is spring, because it's my favorite season too. Anyway, like I said, that's it. I hope you're doing well, reading mentally and otherwise. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope to see you all in my next one. Bye, guys. This drink is disgusting, but it's supposed to be good for me, so